everyone, this is Greyshot17.
Ace.
Yeah, so Ace is here because he's better with these commanders and or my brother's lazy. You decide what is the correct answer down in the comments down below. We are finally going over the Soviet commanders. Isn't it great that we finally are doing this after weeks of anticipation?
I'm excited.
He's super excited. All right. Now, of course, let's start things off with, of course, the best Soviet commander. Let's get the hot topic one right off the bat. Counterattacks, S tier. Fight me. Fight me.
No.
Fight me. Fight me. Meme material, number 1. There we go.
No.
It has great recon. At least shock troops.
Recon's not great.
But the shock troops and 4 Mother Russia combo.
Yes, I agree. They're great.
Yes.
Everything else about the doctrine, it's hit or miss.
The KV1, especially, again, remember that it's going to be upgraded with the upcoming
But
patch.
is it updated?
What?
Is it currently updated?
It will have a 20% armor.
Is it currently updated?
But no,
Is it currently updated?
Hold on. By the time this releases, probably.
It's a yes or no answer.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's a yes or no answer.
Again, right now, in my heart, it's S tier. You can object, but this is...
Low A, high B.
We will... Wait, so you would put it as a B?
I would put low A or high B.
And also the meme material, the B4. The B4
They're not watching this
is
for the memes. People who watch this want to know some actual objective answers.
But if you... No, I'm being honest. Like,
the only reason it's good is because the 4 Mother Russia with shock troops is god tier. The B4 artillery is good when it hits, but the problem with it is it doesn't do saturation.
You just need to believe.
There's no saturation, so there's no zoning.
You don't need to believe.
The recon also is... The Russian recon is one of the most subpar recons in the game. I actually argue it's the worst.
Okay. I like it. I also think, again, shock troops, 4 Mother Russia... I think it's all fantastic. That's why I put number S tier.
KV1, though, I mean, until it's patched.
Though I will admit...
KV1 is...
Okay, but we each have 2 outs that we can use. So I use one of mine. So that means I have 1 left, and you have 2. So whatever you...
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not... I doubt you're going to use it out unless you do something really stupid. All right. Move on to the next one.
All right, so what about Lend-lease? Where would you put that?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think Lend-lease... I think it's actually... Right now, I've been actually testing it. I actually like it at A tier.
Put it in B tier, actually.
Here's the rationale. You can get fuel from it, which will become imperative.
Which is great. I agree. Because it has no munitions. It has no munition call-in.
The Sherman's been upgraded with now HVAC rounds, which are better against Panthers.
They were also really good pre-patch.
Yes.
They're the fastest firing tank in the game. I believe at 3.
Yeah. So it's.
However, the reason I put it in B, not A tier, is because the Dishka is not a tier 0. It's a tier 2.
That's a fair point. I still enjoy it as an MG, and even if you let's say go with a penal and then that.
I agree with you. It's great. But the problem, since you have to wait for the Dishka and then the guard call in, while decent, does my problem is if they were actual guards, I put an A tier, but they're PPSH guards. They're really expensive, and I think it's a B tier doctrine. I really do.
Okay, I think you got me on the guards because that is such. In my eyes, kind of like a waste of such an ability.
Here's my problem. Yeah. I think the guards would be good if it was just the guards. The fact that you have to call in and spend fuel on it for the half track, to me, is a waste.
No, that is a
fair, and that's why I put that at B.
That is a fair point. But in any case, next up, let's go with
That's not Lend-lease.
Sorry, not Lend-lease. Let's Soviet industry. Where would you put that? Because I like it as an S tier. Just because of 2 very powerful abilities. The KV2 and the repairs.
I originally would have had it. But you see, I'm conflicted on this one because I originally would have been S tier with you. Ever since they nerfed the KV2's backable speed.
Yes. I
think it's A tier. It's good, but the doctrine lacks in the fact that you have no call-in. The repairs are great. The fuel call-in's great. The KV8 is fantastic, but my problem with the reason I don't think it's S tier is the KV8 with the KV2, in my opinion, is overkill.
It's overkill, but I would rather have a doctrine that is so proficient at being amazing that it maybe lacks.
Well, my problem is the KV2 is not a direct tank counter. So
you're right. It's a direct infantry counter.
Right, and the KV8 is also a direct infantry counter. It can take the hits, but so can the KV2.
I think the KV8 is close range, while the other one's longer range.
No, KV2 is about mid-range.
Okay.
And that's if it's on a good map. That's my stipulation is an S tier doctrine is something that is good no matter what. The doctrine functions, it's great, it's not situational. And while I agree it's good, there are situations where you would not go that doctrine.
You have very high standards.
I do have high standards.
Yes. Okay. So again, looks like we have. Oh my god.
Not everything can be S tier.
Come on, let's get some F tiers. Let's get some Fs.
I think there is going to be an F tier in this one. I actually do believe.
Oh boy, I'm super excited. All right, how about advanced warfare? Where would you place that? By the way, if one last thing about Soviet industry, I think its repairabilities are bar none some of the best repair.
No, it is the best. Like that's why its repairability is solely
if you're going for armor, if you're going for armored assaults, you need this.
Like for instance, if they subbed, like let's say they put the Sherman instead of the KV8 in, I put it in S tier because the Sherman it has the speed that the KV2 no longer has, but. And the KV2 gets that buff, and I do agree it's good. I just don't think it's an S tier doctrine.
Okay, what about advanced warfare?
That's radio intercept, T-3485's conscript repair.
Yes, and then also you have the Sturmovik Strafe, which is a weird one.
Does the Strafe suppress or okay? Yeah.
So
okay, that one's actually really good in the retreat and with. Okay, I actually would argue this one at minimum is A tier.
Okay, so I like the T-35. I don't think...
Here's why. Here's why I think it's A tier. The radio intercept is extremely underrated because that tells you if there's an early rush going on. That also can tell you if you can run a sniper because you can see if the Wehrmacht gets a counter sniper versus your sniper if you want to go
That's a fair point.
T-3485's extremely versatile and really good compared to the 76s. Conscript assault package and with the repair kit makes Conscript a late... especially... Oh, wait. They don't get the upgrade with the PPS, the 7-man squad with the PPSHs, but
they're still very good close range.
It's good. And then this Thermikov attack is good against infantry as well.
There is one thing that I don't like about this doctrine.
What?
You're right. I love conscript repair. Everything else is very good. T-34 have some gripes out missing, but overall I still think it's a very good tank.
The 85 is not great.
IL-2 Sturmovik attack I think is not great.
Actually, if this is the one I'm thinking of, I've seen this destroy infantry. It's not great. But it's not terrible. This is why I said at the highest I'll put it is A tier.
I think it's better at a B tier.
I can see it at a B tier too.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not give it a high. I give it it barely breaks into low A for me, but I think it could solidly rest at B tier.
Okay. I think that's it. So let's unfortunately. So in case anyone's, I'm sorry. This isn't. I'm sorry. That's
not Lend-lease.
That's not Lend-lease.
Tank Hunter.
This is Lend-lease. There we go. We fixed that. Let's just Tank Hunter. Where would you put Tank Hunter?
Pull up the doctrine.
So Tank Hunter, for those who
I'm trying to remember if it still has the.
For those who don't know, one of the things that took so long for us to do this is we forgot a lot of these commanders, the nitty gritty bits of them. So we have it on the side.
The problem is a lot of these at least for me, I don't play half of these a lot because they're very meme useless. But I did play Tank Hunters. Here's the thing I have about Tank Hunters though.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have given them much higher ranking pre-patch because now that penals can be upgraded with AT.
Oh yeah.
The Conscript and the PTRS package is locked behind CP.
Yeah.
And while the reign of the AT nades is good, the satchel's better.
Yeah.
So I think the first one with the Conscript PTRS package is extremely low value now.
Same thing with the light anti-tank mine. Why would you use light ones?
And this is a very spammy doctrine with Conscript because you're sacrificing infantry power on top of that, which is something I always hit you in the penals for. And then there's the
cheap mines.
Light anti-vehicle mines. Why? Just use regular mines.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus they're CP locked for some reason. Even though they're weaker.
Camouflaging an S285 is a good idea. I like that.
Yes, that one is good. I agree. That one is great. The artillery
is fine.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. It's decent. The anti-bombing run
can be very good.
I think it's really good in the sense it's the 10 CP strike.
Yes.
The IL-2 is better in my opinion, only because it does more damage. But this is cheaper, and I've seen it use a great effect. However, I would actually put this at C tier.
Yes.
Because there's only 3 saving graces in it, and one of them is conditional.
I agree. I agree on that.
Yeah, I really think the PTRS conscripts should get a slight buff just to even it out.
No, that I think you make a fair point with that assessment. So next up, let's do. Wait, do I have 2 of these? Okay, so wait, is that? Yeah, so I do. So I couldn't get a picture of it, but this is the new one. This one's the Fidel Castro or whatever you want to look at him.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the new guy, the new commander, the airborne guy.
I say we do that one. Last.
Okay.
So we don't confuse ourselves.
Okay, so I'll put him down.
Yeah.
So how about we go with this guy? So for those who don't know, this one specializes in causing you hell if there are any buildings anywhere near you because of the forward headquarters. This thing can literally seal the deal for a game in the first 5 or 10
I know
minutes.
we've lost a bunch of games of this.
Yep.
So I mean, Forward HQ, extremely versatile, hugely impactful at any stage of the game. The M42-45 AT gun
is a meme, but
it's still better
yeah.
than it used to be, but
it was trash.
Honestly, I would never get this. Shock troops, I like shock troops. They're good. I think they're pretty good. Booby trap territory again, little memey, but you know I'm fine with that. KV2 again, it's great. I love this doctrine. My problem with this doctrine though, no direct strike.
Yes. And if you don't win the game, even though the KV2 is great late game, if you don't win the game immediately, this doctrine loses effectiveness as the game progresses.
And he brought up a great point because I was about to say, if you wanted the KV2, go Soviet industry because it's a more versatile doctrine. Literally, this is an early game commander, and because it has a late call-in, they did that to make it more versatile in the late game. But I don't think it saves the doctrine as much as they were thinking.
So I think it's because of the fact it's literally like again such a direct focus doctrine. I think
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong, but I think the fact that you see the vulnerability of the later game, I would put it B tier. Because it is very good at one thing.
I actually would put it in C tier for the sole reason the fact that if you cannot win the early game, most of your doctrine is useless.
Okay.
And that now if it does great, it's A to B tier. I 100% agree. But I'm judging these commanders based on what happens. Like situational, like at every point in the game where I'm going to be using this. I am not going to use the majority of that commander throughout the game, only using the early game. And that reason it's C tier.
So how about we give a commander that you will never use? Defensive Doctrine.
I completely forgot that one exists.
So Defensive Doctrine has the 45 millimeter AT gun, the heavy mortar, the Dushka, the tank traps.
So let's go through this. The anti-personnel mines, basically the S mines.
Let's move on. It's
and then we just go through it. I mean, again, not great, not terrible, but again, regular mines are better, so are demos. Dushka, pretty good. I actually would argue this is kind of better because this allows you to go the infantry campagna because you get a doctrinal MG and mortar, so you can you don't have to tech for them.
Technically, even AT gun if you wanted.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Again, this is the one thing where I think the M42 is terrible, is because you already have 2 really good anti-infantry supports, and the tank traps, they're good, but
you could seal your own base from the enemy.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I wouldn't put it at F tier.
I mean,
for the sole reason that the Dushka and the millimeter by themselves are fantastic.
They will be fixing this doctrine. I know that is a fact, but for right now, I think it is.
But in my opinion, F tier it's completely useless. Like, there's nothing redeeming about that doctrine. But here's the thing, though, like what I just described that is a style I could see winning with that. The fact that you can have penals, conscripts, the 120s, and the Dushka. Yeah, like that is an Axis nightmare to deal with.
So what about shock rifle? I think this is by far one of the best Soviet commanders.
I'm trying to remember which one that is.
So
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is one I was thinking of. Yeah. Okay.
So you get the IS-2, the flame barrage, shock troops, camouflage AT gun, and the KVA flamethrower. I think it's a versatile set of call-ins.
I do think it's redundant because the IS-2 is more infantry than anti-tank, so I think the KV-8 also redundants it, but I don't think that's a terrible thing. I do think the call-in isn't the greatest because it's incendiary. It doesn't do direct damage. It's good area denial, but you already have a flamethrower and an IS-2. Okay. Anti-tank ambush, great. I love that. I think that's always good. Shock troops, again, I love shock troops. Really good anti-infantry capability, but again, and the IS-2 is okay. I think it's a weaker heavy tank, but I don't think it's the greatest in terms of anti-tank, but that's okay because the Su-85 is king.
Okay. But would you give it A tier or S tier?
It's not S tier. I would give it low A tier.
Okay, that's a fair point.
It barely eats its way into A tier because it's solely for the fact it's so good at shutting down infantry on its own that the Su-85s can compensate for it.
No, that is a fair point. I will say if you're versing any sort of infantry, whether infantry base, and like literally this doctrine excels in all fronts.
If you have a blob, this is what I would use to counter it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's bring up another one, Partisan Tactics. So this one, oh boy.
That used to be S tier.
So Partisan Tactics has the Partisan Troop plus the Partisan Tank Hunter. So
plus radio intercept.
Yeah. The Spy Network is my personal favorite.
Spy Network is extremely good.
Because you can
see
the
marked
everything.
vehicle, I think, is also a really good, because this is something where you can mark it if a vehicle's retreating, pop out the hunters, and kill it.
Yes.
However, it's very situational. Partisans are cheap, but they have no versatility within the late game, and
they will be fixing this, but tank hunters cost more to reinforce than it is to just sacrifice it. Like, it makes no sense. Because usually it's about 10% ratio or a little bit lower.
Yeah.
This thing is like, cost 270, manpower reinforced like 33 or something. It's ridiculous.
It makes no sense to actually reinforce or keep these squads because they have no staying power. Their only usage is thing, and it's actually for that reason I actually would put this doctrine in C tier. Because here's the reason.
Yeah.
You're never gonna it's good support, but you are never gonna use this to stop a major battle. There's nothing there to hold it. You're gonna use this to finish off weakened units or get behind the enemy lines. Like, this is a supporting doctrine.
Yes.
And since there's no direct call-in, and it's great. No, but it has two great abilities, Mark Target and Spy Network.
Yeah.
But there's nothing here to me that says, okay, I don't have to worry about something like I'm going to have a core Soviet army, and then maybe I'll use some of that.
Here's my one stance on it, though. You can use the radio intercept and the spy network to identify key major targets.
Yes,
so this is a very good support. This is not a great offensive.
And again, that's why I think it belongs in C tier, because it's honestly, God, a solely supportive doctrine. It's not great, it's not terrible, it's average. To me, C is average.
So let's bring up the next one, which is armored assault tactics. So that'll be this gentleman right here.
I used to run that one quite a bit.
So for those who don't know, armored assault has a mixture. You have both the radio intercept,
which is great,
T-30-45 plus the IS-2. You get a vehicle repair, which is great for healing armor. It's secondary to, let's say...
There's one really huge flaw with vehicle repair is if you do it too close to the front and you get attacked, you cannot cancel it. So you will if you don't have anything around it, you will guarantee lose that tank that's repairing.
IL-2 Sturmvik Strike is also really good for holding back infantry blobs, because this one's the full rotation. Yeah, it's a loiter. It's not going to just straight from fly off.
And then obviously the IS-2.
Yeah, that I mentioned. But overall, I think this is a very good and powerful doctrine if used correctly, because radio intercept, you can know what the enemy's deploying. You can get T-30-45 to beat out Panzer IV, or even hold its own against a Panther. Or if you know the enemy is rushing armor, you can rush for an IS-2 as well. And then, are you Stormvik straight?
Yeah, rushing for an IS-2 is kind of rough because it's CP locked at 13.
Yeah, I agree that it's not...
No, like, you can... Here's the thing. If the opponent's rushing armor, you're going to rush an SU-85.
Yeah.
Because that will come out way sooner. I've used this doctrine. I actually like this doctrine, but I'm not biased towards it. It has a lot of weakness in it because... Unfortunately, if you only rock the 85s and IS-2, you will get bodied a lot. Yeah. So you normally sacrifice... You'll get maybe 185 and maybe the IS-2, and depending on your infantry, whatever CP you have left over, you'll rock the SU-85s.
That is a fair point.
And it's because of that I put it in B tier, because two of those tanks cancel each other out, and that's why I put that in. That's why I would put that one in B tier, which you should totally move into B tier.
Oh, right. Sorry.
All right. I want to make sure you know something. Any of you try to fight me with this, fuck off. Oh,
what? No.
Go be wrong somewhere else.
All right, so let's go with Sadman over here. So Shock Mortar. Shock Mortar has, again, for reference, we have up on the side, has the Shock Troops, Conscript repairs, armored vehicle detection, IL-2 precision bomb strike, and the ISU-152. The ISU-152 was a god tier tank. It's great against armor and infantry.
I actually argue it's the best long range tank in the game.
Yeah. Now this doctrine is very similar to another doctrine, but
we will get to.
Which I think this is the lesser of the two.
100%, 100%. IL-2 precision bombing strike is fucking fantastic. It can counter tanks if called incorrectly. Artillery emplacements, it's great. ISU is it's a heavy anti-tank counter, a heavy anti-infantry.
Yep.
The shock troops. I think they work decently well with that, and especially if you pair them with the conscripts. I think it's a good one. I actually argue it's a solid A tier.
Yes,
I actually argue it's a solid A tier.
That being said, it's Big Brother's way better.
This is the one I rock. It's my most commonly played one. This is S tier. You can shut up. Yeah. I'm just gonna go through why I love this. First off, I actually don't use the anti-gun ambush tactics because I think it's the one thing about the doctrine doesn't fit. But if you were to run it, it's fantastic. It's good. Yeah. I don't use the ability, but the ability by itself is great. Yeah. Guards rifle. Guards are the best special infantry in the game, bar none. Don't at me. They're really good against infantry and tanks. They're fantastic.
I will give you that. They have the main weapon is good against armor and infantry, which is unlike
especially up there
anything
with
in the game.
DPS. They're fantastic.
Especially with this doctrine.
Marked vehicle is great. We played a game once where he called an ISU. I marked it, and then I called an IL-2 and killed it in one hit.
Yes.
That's great. Like, the fact that's there is good. And the ISU is good. Like, there is nothing about this doctrine that if you just picked up that you can use this. If you're just starting out or playing the game or you're playing it safe, you're always gonna have an AT gun. You're always gonna call in the guards. You're always gonna use mark. You're always gonna use mark target. You're always gonna use the IL-2. You're always gonna use the ISU. That's why this is an S tier in my opinion. Yes. There is nothing in this doctrine that is not versatile, that is not good, that you are never using. I don't use it, but that's personal. I love it. I love it.
Yes. No, I agree. No, I agree with you. This is why I rock this one if I need to go long range and anti-armor, anti-infantry.
There was nothing about this I don't like.
Okay. So let's go with something maybe not as universally liked. Guard rifle.
Yeah, this one actually I feel like I might get some flack on.
Okay. So you got the KV-1, which I know you don't care for. I
personally don't care for
because it's a good armored tank to hold up against medium armor and below. Panther, sure, but they can definitely take the hits. You get the guard rifle. So
fantastic infantry.
Yes, but you get conscript.
Now this is where it gets very interesting, and this is where I would argue this doctrine punches way above its weight than people think, because the fact that you have conscript assault package means you're going to get more conscript getting, which means you're not really going to get penals because you don't need the penals. You have the guards, so that means if you play this, you're guaranteed to get support compania, which is going to be your MGs, your mortars, your AT guns.
Yep,
and then the artillery. It's an actual dedicated artillery piece, which is gret. And the IL-2 stern attack,
very good against infantry.
It's the loiter one.
Yeah,
it's good.
And it will suppress infantry.
Now the KV-1 post buff, well, good. Now I actually argue post buff, this will be an S tier doctrine. I think it's a solid A.
Okay, I would agree because it does do a lot against a lot of different tactics. So I will agree. I think A tier is a good place for it.
Because literally, just rock Su-85s with it. You got the RE to saturate. You got the high killing infantry potential of the guards and the assault conscripts.
Yep.
And then you have an infantry column.
Now, let's go over a doctrine that highlights a important function, or like one of the most common doctrines I've seen in the game. Soviet Shock Army.
Yes, Soviet Shock.
So the reason why I say it's most popular because you can both get shock troops and the 120mm mortar. A mortar that is bar none one of the best mortars in the game.
Yeah, there's a reason why this one's fucking used a lot.
Yeah. Plus you get the heavy artillery as Soviets. You get the conscript assault package, which I'll get to in a second. I don't think it works with this doctrine. And you also get the Sternvik strike. This is great. I like the mortar and I like shock troops with everything else. My biggest gripe with this doctrine is the conscript assault package. It doesn't fit with the shock troops because they're both good close range, and I'd rather have shock troops than conscripts.
I agree with you, but here's my counterpoint.
Yes.
The fact that means you can actually skip the AT penals and then just grab PPSH conscripts to use the AT nades for the snare.
Yeah.
That is good. And also the fact that this is a lot of killing potential, which is phenomenal for me. The 120s are great early game counters. Two of them can knock down a medical or a Schwer fairly quickly.
Okay.
And also, again, they're just fantastic. Shock troops, fantastic. Assault conscripts, fantastic. Artillery, fantastic. Loiter, fantastic. Honestly, I think it's a low S tier in my opinion.
You would call it an S tier.
What part of it's not S tier to you?
The PPSH assault package. I would rather have them with like AT rifles or anything.
But here's the glory about it. You don't need that. Because the fact that you have that much infantry killing power means that you can just get an AT gun or two and then get Su-85s. Remember, a doctrine has to be judged by what it supports with the army.
I will count this. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I moved the wrong one. All right, I'll put this as a lock for you. So
I wouldn't put it as a lock. Like, I'm arguing it's low S, high A.
I would rather put this A because
I'm fine with putting it A.
I don't like the conscript. I do think it's very good. But I do think there is that problem. All right, so next up, let's see. We do have another commander. Let's see. Let's go with this mustache man. Oh, right. NKVD. So NKVD, the new doctrine that allows you to call in essentially...
Again, radio intercept.
Great. Radio intercept, great.
KV-8 on its own, also good. The Commissar Command Squad cannot be underestimated.
It's good.
No,
it's good.
It's fantastic. It has a free heal. And it's great. It's awesome. Scorched Earth, I'm actually not a fan of.
here's my thing about it. It's actually, weirdly enough, it's a good doctrine to have for anti-encirclement purposes. Because if it can't be decapped, you can't be encircled.
Yeah, but here's the problem. You actually have to place the traps.
Yes, I agree.
Like, if it was just natively, I could be fine with that. But you have to place the traps. And there's no guarantee they're going to decap it with infantry. They could decap it with this Duke of Dive Bomb Strike.
That is a fair point. So
if we're talking about encirclement.
Yeah.
And then the anti-tank Overwatch.
They have nerfed it.
Here's the thing. I've always been... I agree with the nerf, but I think it's not as good as people think it is, or as weak, because it's a vision game with that one. If you have vision and can stun them, oh, they're fucking dead. If you can't, well, you're fucked.
Okay, so I think this would be actually a decent B tier.
I actually agree with B tier.
Yeah. So I think a B tier is the right place for this, because again, it has a lot of good abilities, but quite a number of drawbacks where that kind of leaves it down. So next up, let's do Guard Mortar. Now, I think this might be a little bit higher of an S tier. And let me go into a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm actually agreeing with you. This was my original commander that I learned co-on.
Yeah, so you got the T-3045, which is, again, great.
Fantastic.
Guards, fantastic. With the 120mm mortar.
Doubly fantastic.
And then
this means you can rock this with penals.
Mark target, which allows you to fight heavy armor easily.
And vehicle crew repair, it's nice to have, but... Yeah. I actually argue it's good for this one in the sole fact that you don't have a lot of munition-heavy abilities on this one.
Yes, I agree.
Except for grenades.
Yeah, but again, luckily with the Soviets, if you're playing them right, you should have tons of munitions, especially with this doctrine to use when you need them. So yeah, I agree. I think Guard Mortar is just... Because I see vehicle crew repair being a little bit more proficient with the instead of the PPSH package, because the guard troops fill in that need of anti-tank. But that's just me. And that's why I would put this as my second lock for an S tier.
I agree with you. You don't have to lock it in.
I will lock it.
All right.
And pop it. No, nothing?
And yourself.
Okay, will do.
I love how you keep scrolling over the same commanders that we've gone over.
I know. I'm terrible. All right, let's go with Conscript support. Everyone's favorite doctrine that everyone forgets. All right, Conscript support tactics has the KV-1, the PPSH package, Conscript repairs, rapid conscription.
Good for you, not for me.
Incendiary artillery barrage. Yeah, I lose a lot of men, so rapid conscription.
I think this is a solid C. I think it's a solid C tier.
Yeah.
I would even argue it's a D tier, because the KV-1 not as great right now. The Conscript package, and the only two things good about that doctrine are the repair and the PPSHs. Everything else is utter shit. Unless you somehow keep losing all your squads.
Yeah, this is mainly like, I could see this as a blob-focused doctrine.
It is a blob-focused doctrine.
Which I'm not a huge fan of. And I think it's very easy to counter blobs, and that's just me.
It is very easy to counter blobs.
I actually would agree with you. I think this is a lower rank one.
I think it's because there's only one thing you do with this doctrine.
It's blob.
It's you blob Conscript PPSHs and you repair your tanks. That is all you do. Like, yeah, the incendiary barrage is okay, but you're ideally not going to really kill anything with it. Air denial is important, but the doctrine doesn't really... Because here's another problem, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're attacking a position. You call down the incendiary. You're going to rush your conscripts in and burn them on your own strike?
Okay, fair point.
I mean, yeah, you can cut off retreat pass and you can cut off reinforcement, but
I don't think you would necessarily do that, but again... I mean, you could. It just may not be the most...
I just think it's D-tier. I very rarely see it used. I very rarely use it. I did for a little bit. Like, I spammed KV-1s for the fun of it, and it's just not... It's not practical.
Okay, so let's do the next doctrine, which I think... Wait, I think it would be this mustache man? Yes, Soviet Reserve. I believe this man... I think I have two of them of the same picture.
Yep.
Okay, they're twins. Anyway, let's put him... Let's keep him right there for a moment. Sorry, the reason is the pictures I got are slightly bigger than the ones in Co, so it's sometimes hard to match. But in any case, Soviet Reserve Army. Partisan tank hunters. You have conscripts, conscript repair, rapid conscription, and the howitzer. My problem is with this one is I don't care for partisans deploying them because, again...
There's no mark target.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's even less likely for you to get a kill.
So
there's no spy network.
You do get artillery, but that's it.
Artillery's good, but then again, the PPSH...
You're focusing on blobs.
But three of these are the same as the other one. I actually would argue it's C tier just because that's artillery.
I both fundamentally agree and disagree. I do, but the problem is with that is I do think it's better with artillery. I think the tank hunters are worse with it.
Here's the question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Is it the same as the ones we put in D tier, or is it better than them? And I argue it's better because it has artillery.
Okay.
It also at least, and I would take tank hunters in that doctrine, or the tank partisans, over the KV1 any day of the week.
That's your opinion. I like the KV1, but I will move it up because again.
Why'd you move up that one?
That's the one. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
It is? Okay.
That is it. Okay. So next up. Anyway, so we found our missing commander. Anyway, a lot of these mustaches look very similar to each other. So Soviet Combined Arms. Where would you place this guy? For those who don't know, Soviet Combined Arms has anti-tank gun, guards rifle, recon, ML2, and the IL-2 precision strike.
I put him in B tier.
B tier. Okay.
It's got recon. It's got the precision. It's got artillery. It's got guards. Nothing here. Really, I mean, it's all good.
I like the guards, and I like the heavy artillery and the IL-2 bomb strike. I think the recon's good, and the AT strike.
I think the recon's good. But there's better recon, and it also uses munitions, which could be used for the IL-2. But you already have artillery, so I could go B or A with it. Honestly, I'm not married to either one.
All right, so I will actually use that as my last lock then, again, since I didn't use it before. So I will use that as my A. But in any case, our next one is, I believe, Terror Tactics. Which is an interesting doctrine to go, because I believe Terror Tactics. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Wait, I believe that's Terror Tactics.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. There we go. Terror Tactics is a entirely anti-infantry based. It also has an ability that really no other doctrine has, and that's fear propaganda, which causes people to retreat.
NKVD has it.
That's true, but it's more localized to the commissar.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's better though.
Yeah, the fear propaganda will do it over a period of time, make people retreat.
Let's go over it.
Shock troops are good close range.
KV8,
flamethrower, heavy artillery, and the IL-2 bomb strike.
I think fear propaganda is okay, but the fact that it does no long-term lasting damage.
You have artillery and direct strike, plus shock troops good close range and KV8 flamethrower.
I mean,
there's a lot. This is pure anti-infantry, well, and anti-fortification.
Here's the thing though, there's better anti-infantries.
That's a fair point.
It's not the best. KV8, great against infantry. Shock troops, great. Fear propaganda, on paper it's really good, but it does no damage. It's mainly for positioning, which is not terrible. Howitzer, good against the placements. IL-2, less infantry, more structures.
Would you be fine with B tier?
I was about to say I would put it in B tier.
Okay.
It's not weak, but there's ones that are better than it, so I think that earns it a B tier.
Okay, so there are two ones that we have below. We're just using as a substitute. For those who don't know, so we're using this guy for the commander, which has
anti-infantry.
Anti-infantry, which is another. Okay, it's another one with the fear propaganda.
Well, here's the problem.
Yes, which fear propaganda is better, or
which doctrine's better? And I can tell you right away, this one's the worst one.
Yes,
due to the fact that IL-2 better than incendiary, and the artillery is just.
So we'll use this as it. We'll just put that at C tier.
Yeah, I think it's actually. I would argue it's D tier. Due to the sole fact that it shares so many with Terror Tactics.
Yes.
That why would you pick it? Like, why would you want?
Why would you pick the guard mortar over the other one? The two ISU 152 ones, because they're so similar.
No, they're completely different. One has marked target, and the other one has guards infantry.
Okay.
They completely change the doctrines the way they work.
Okay.
That's why that one's S tier. The reason why I think this one's D tier is because, okay, would you rather have IL-2 or incendiary?
IL-2.
Would you rather have
guards over shock?
Would you they have sharks on. Go back to that one.
Yeah. So essentially for
what did they switch out with the go back to this one real quick. Okay, now go back to the other one. Now, would you rather have it's up here,
It's this one.
No, we're talking about we're not talking about that. We're talking about anti-infantry and terror tactics.
Oh no, I would rather have the heavy artillery.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's D tier, because there's nothing there that I would pick over it.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. And then airborne. So we'll use this guy for Fidel Castro, whoever he's pulled off of. Any case, airborne has the abilities of weapons crate, Zadushka, airborne rally point, airborne guards, and the IL-2 anti-tank.
It also has the IL-2 strafe ability.
Yes.
because the airborne guards get that.
This fundamentally changes the Soviets to have a forward base.
All right.
That's free.
Let's go down the list here and just explain why this doctrine is, in my opinion, pretty much broken.
Yeah.
So one CP weapons crate drop. One CP means nothing because the fact of the matter is, by the time you have 1 CP, you'll have enough to drop it. Or thing. So first off, the fact that you can have penal PPSHs.
Yep.
And SVT rifles on your conscripts.
Yep.
It's fucking amazing. And it's great. Also, another thing people don't realize is this is a direct transfer of 1-to-1 munitions to your allies. Like, you got an American who's rocking recon support, just feed him a bunch of munitions, and he's good to go.
Yeah.
So that's immediately great. Also, it's a Dishka paradrop.
Yes.
Means you can feed that to other people as well, and it's super cheap to call in. Airborne rally.
Forward base.
Oh my god, it's fantastic, and it detects nearby enemies, so you don't have to build it as that.
Airborne guards cannot be dropped on the battlefield, but
they can be inserted in buildings behind lines.
Yes, they can.
And they get a 3 DPS upgrade and PTRSs, but the DPSs are better. They also, at Vet 1, get the IL-2 strafe call-in.
They do. Which
is fantastic. And then the IL-2 anti-tank rocket run, which I never thought was great until your brother kept using it and it started killing artillery.
He killed 3 Panzerwerfers in a row with it.
I remember. That in itself is good. I actually will use my lock in place as an S tier.
I agree with you on that statement.
It is an S tier.
I will move that as an S tier.
It is an S tier. It is so good. It is so good for the fact that its anti-infantry alone is amazing. The fact that it's a support that rocks with other ones is great. Yes. Another Soviet can get the same benefits from that doctrine despite not going. Like, that alone makes it just so good.
I agree. I agree with your statement. But that's gonna be it for this commander. What did you think?
No, we don't want their opinions. Their opinions are wrong.
I mean, their opinion could be right.
No.
Obviously, the B4 is the best one.
No.
Obviously.
I will fight you on that.
Obviously, as well, I keep putting my arm down to rest it, and I keep falling.
Actually, I have one more lock left. I want to use that to unlock your lock.
No.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Oh, I just said I could.
Any case, next up will be the austere. So, oh boy, that'll be interesting.
That's the Wehrmacht.
Any case, we'll see you guys next time. Hello everyone, before you guys go, I want to tell you about these incredible people like Milam, Ace, Chris Bailey, Folkvard, Javibuxi, Jfoe, Joey G240, Josh, jrchicklis, Just Thomas Plays, Little Koosh, Mustaach, Onlyplayapples, PyroShark, Rifle, Streakingwookie, White Hot D, GTA, Jakub Ocwieja, Nathan Angus, and Cedarteal. Thank you guys so much for your incredible Patreon support. This has been Greyshot 117 and his amazing patrons, and I'll see you guys next time.